Hey everybody, welcome back to Entreaty by Rhonda Hensley. Today we're diving into a topic that's deeply important and often misunderstood. Codependency and the fear of abandonment. If you've ever felt like your happiness is entirely reliant on someone else's presence in your life, or the mere thought of being alone triggers intense anxiety, then this video is for you. Fear of abandonment is one of the really strong things that drives codependency. Afraid that someone's going to leave you. Where does it come from? Oftentimes it is from early childhood experiences of maybe a parent that left through divorce. First marriages end in divorce 50% of the time. Second marriages, the percentage is higher than that. And if you're a child and your parents get divorced and the person leaves, then you can feel abandoned. Then say your mom gets with her next person and they get married and it's one of them 1-year marriages and then this person is gone. And then, and you begin to feel like that everyone that's important in your life is going to leave. And it's an unconscious decision that happens. Oftentimes, people don't realize that it's the fear of abandonment driving their behavior, becoming very controlling in a relationship, to doing things to make this person act like they want to be with you, or to assure you that they want to be there. I definitely had the fear of abandonment, and I felt like that I was not enough, that he was going to leave me if I wasn't skinny enough, pretty enough, did all the things, the perfect mom, the clean house, the good wife, all of those things, or he would leave. And of course, he told me that nobody would want me, so I believed all that. And that fear of abandonment became very pervasive for me. Even though I was controlling, actually, I was controlled by the other person because I thought they would leave. And I know today what I've learned, that that fear of abandonment is also because I abandoned myself in relationships. It didn't just happen with my significant other. It was my friends, acquaintances. They were going to leave. If they really knew me, they would not love me and they would leave me. And it just created this cycle of me putting up with abuse, my needs not being met, the unfair injustices of, being in a lopsided relationship. Whenever I stopped doing some of this stuff, my friends disappeared because I was the only one doing the work in the relationship. So and then over the years, then I got to where, I pushed people away. They were going to leave, so I should leave first. And even though I physically didn't leave, I left in my brain. Shut down, didn't engage, and all those sort of things. What I know today about the fear of abandonment is that it creates this self-fulfilled prophecy. That prophecy that they're going to leave happens because of my sideways behavior that comes out of fear that they'll leave. And then they do leave. Of course, my first husband never left. When I finally did leave him, then he wanted me to come back. And all of those years I spent believing that he would leave. And let's go back to the child where, of a divorce. Children that are products of divorce and their parent leaves, usually it's the dad. They leave and then they're left there. Well, dad goes on, meets someone else, and this woman either has children or they have more children, and he's involved in their lives, but he's not involved in yours. They internalize that, thinking there is something wrong with them. And because there's something wrong with them, people are always going to leave. And it's pervasive. So how do I overcome this? Well, you have to heal some of that. First off, you have to become aware of maybe where it came from. I think for me, I remember as a 5-year-old, I lived in a small town. My 2 grandmothers had houses that their backyards backed up to each other. And I could go out of the back door of one grandmother and go in the door of the other grandmother. And I stayed a lot at my maternal grandmother's. She was a hairdresser. I loved all that stuff. So on this day in particular, it was my birthday. And they'd given me a little parasol and a little slip-on Barbie-looking shoes. And I just decided to walk around the sidewalk to my other grandmother's house. And there was no one there. The house was locked down, no cars, no nothing. And I can remember standing there thinking they've all left me. They've all left me and it's my birthday. Of course, years later, I realized, of course, my mom was in the hospital. She'd had my little brother. But while she was in the hospital, one of her first cousins had died. And this was the day of that first cousin's funeral. So they were all gone. But as a child at 5 years old, I don't know that. I just felt left. And so you can go back and find out where it comes from. And, that was probably the first type of thing that happened for me. But I had some childhood trauma, which caused me to be very sensitive and very, and didn't felt like I had a lot of worth. And I was just afraid that that person that I got love from was going to leave. And if they left, I would be all alone and I wouldn't be worth anything. So I had to become aware of those things and then have some self-compassion for myself to acknowledge and validate that I had these fears. And I had to accept that I had this fear. Do some inner child work. Address your wounds from the past and work through them. There's still a little girl in here that gets scared every once in a while. And, you have to learn to address your mindset, use grounding, meditation, some of those type of things. Get therapeutic support. You have to build your self-worth. Anytime I get my self-worth outside of myself, which was this other person that was going to leave me, or my friends, and then it got even pervasive that it went into that I was going to lose materialistic things or money. I have a relationship with money. I have the fear of abandonment, that it is going to go away. That is something that I've realized, just in the last few years. This fear of abandonment, that anything good in my life I'm going to lose. I had to learn how to meet my own needs emotionally. I had to learn to set boundaries so I didn't abandon myself in relationships. And as my worth grew and my confidence grew, I began to be able to do this. And I spent several years being single, learning how to take care of my own needs. And the only way that I learned to not be afraid that you are going to leave me is by learning how to not abandon myself. I don't abandon myself in relationships. If it's not reciprocated or two-sided, I don't stay. If you're going to abuse me or neglect me or exploit me, then I'm not going to stay. I love me more than I love you. And when that's there, then it removes the fear of abandonment. I'm in the relationship I'm in today because I want to be, not because I need to be. And that has been so empowering for me. And I embrace that empowerment today. And I have to be vulnerable. I have to talk about when I'm scared. I have to talk about what's going on with me. You know, they say you're only as sick as your secrets. And I think that's the root of the secrets. It's not the smutty details of my past. It's what's going on in me today. You know, and most of the time it's fears. I have to acknowledge my fear. So you have the strength within you to rewrite the narrative of your life by acknowledging your fears and taking conscious steps toward healing and to create an environment of safety and security in your life and create meaningful, fulfilling relationships. Remember, overcoming codependency is a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. So, please subscribe to my channel for more insightful content on personal growth and emotional well-being. And let's break free of the chains of codependency. Together we can do it. Together we can do it. And the reason that I do this is I want to help other people overcome those things that keep them stuck and mired in pain and move them and help them to go to a place to where they have power in their life and they have a life filled with genuine connections and self-love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And as always, remember to be you on purpose.